last time we talked about core beliefs and used the drawing description to understand our thoughts, how they validate our core beliefs, how they make it more true, and how we want to focus on finding alternatives to challenge these negative beliefs that we have. So today I wanted to continue with our core beliefs and touch upon cognitive schemas. So our schemas, like core beliefs, are patterns of thoughts or behaviors that organize our information and give us a framework for how we think, how we behave in our world. These are related to our core beliefs. So some negative schemas that we have about ourselves might include abandonment, mistrust, defective, failure, entitlement, approval seeking, to name some. When we have our negative core beliefs, we tend to maintain these beliefs, we tend to avoid them, or we use compensation. So these three main things are really important in understanding this. So schema maintenance, for example, is any information that we would take in that would strengthen this core belief. So the rectangles in the diagram, the experiences that fit in and feed that core belief, is intentionally sought out to make a belief stronger. So the triangles that we have, the thoughts that challenge our core belief, are actually rejected through our cognitive distortions, our negative ways of thinking. Then we have avoidance. So we can avoid on an affective level, in other words, avoiding at the feelings level. These are detached individuals, seeming detached, experiences with trauma, using numbing. Obsessive compulsive personality types can avoid at the emotional level as they focus on repetitive thoughts. And we can also avoid on the cognitive level. So we might say things like, I don't remember, which means you don't want to go there, you don't want to think about it. And then really you're avoiding on an emotional level if you want to get down to that. And then we have behavioral avoidance. So post-traumatic stress disorder, clients as examples, where they actively avoid events associated with trauma in order to not get their schema or their core belief activated. And lastly, we have schema compensation, where we act in ways that are drastically opposite of the schema or the belief that we have, and it ends up reinforcing that belief. So putting this all together, when we begin to understand how we maintain, avoid, or compensate these beliefs as coping styles, we then begin to reorganize our thoughts and focus on the triangles, the reframing, and taking information in that challenges these developed schemas and beliefs. So for now, I'll use an example with abandonment, an abandonment schema, let's say. Usually that's seen with clients who experience borderline personality characteristics or diagnosed borderline personality disorder. So their thoughts often sound like, I can't be okay alone. So it kind of looks like that in our diagram as shown in our previous video. So some maintenance behaviors might be cutting, rejecting others before me, promiscuity, and other smothering types of behavior like calling often, texting often. Avoidance might look like avoiding being left, always staying single, never attaching in the first place, and putting up walls, avoiding feeling rejection, avoiding any emotions, avoiding feeling attached emotionally. And the abandonment schema compensation might look like, I'll dump you before you dump me, or sabotaging behaviors like quitting a job before getting fired. And these behaviors might give someone the feeling of being in control, but it actually strengthens the evidence or the thoughts of always ending up alone. So by understanding this through therapy and working through a therapist, understanding the schemas that we develop and how we maintain these behaviors, the goal is to help clients identify the beliefs that they have, the behaviors related to these core beliefs that they're trying to target, and develop alternative behaviors. So the last example I'll give you is, let's say I worked 42 hours last week when I usually have a 20-hour work week. I've been fighting with my husband a lot lately. I feel he doesn't love me, and I took extra shifts. So the behavior is taking extra shifts. The belief is unlovable, that core belief, that schema we have. And the category of reinforcing that schema is avoidance. I'm avoiding communicating. I'm avoiding, face to face. I'm avoiding feeling hurt. So 3 alternatives could be journaling, therapy, communication. And what we want to do is gradually over time work to identify these schema behaviors by increasing awareness. We really have to work on changing the behaviors in order for our belief and our schema to change. So that's some basic info on schema work and cognitive behavioral therapy. I know it's a lot to take in, but thanks for tuning in, and we will continue some learning videos on cognitive behavioral therapy and how to change our thoughts and behaviors. Bye for now.